The coronavirus pandemic is upending life as we know it. We're seeing businesses closing their doors and unprecedented measures being taken, tearing at the social fabric of cities and disrupting national economies. Much remains unknown, but this much is certain. Just as this quarantine disrupted economies and shattered lives, it will lead to permanent shifts in the ways we live, work, play, and learn. So what will normal be like after quarantine? I'll be tackling this from three main viewpoints. We'll start by taking a look at potential economic outcomes, to then examine the post-pandemic social and public health situation, and finally touch on possible effects on politics and international relations. The immediate effects of quarantine suggest that no one will come out of this without losing something, whether it be a job or financial stability. It is hard to predict how things will be economically because a pandemic of this scale has only happened once before, in 1918, which is too far back a time to compare to. However, that does not mean the future is completely uncertain. From what we've seen, the COVID-19 pandemic is a testament to the massive economic cost of declining global trade. It clearly demonstrates how dependent we are on the global supply chain, even for essential medical supplies. Just like what happened after the Great Recession of 2008, global trade will surely resume after quarantine. However, when it comes to national economies and work life in countries like Canada, there is a strong possibility that things will change. We probably won't revert back to full cubicle-type offices anytime soon. Working at home might become more prevalent and widespread, and finding jobs will be more challenging than ever before. Looking at the bigger picture, markets will recover, even if how this will happen is debated. However, one thing is for sure. The physical world's economy is slowly disappearing. Traditional businesses like restaurants are in crisis, and brick-and-mortar stores are closing down. Meanwhile, the digital economy is thriving. Everyone sitting at home is living their life through their devices. This means that tech firms will become even more powerful and that their products more ubiquitous than ever before. One might even wonder if a tech-dominated economy is on the horizon. We haven't faced a public health emergency of this scale in a century, and that means that there will also be serious repercussions when it comes to public health and the social aspects of society. Among these, we can surely expect an increase in faith in experts and scientists. Additionally, since media coverage of the pandemic is very widespread, people could become more invested in public health in general and government matters, having been exposed to them for an extended period of time. Moreover, as we try to flatten the curve, efficiency is becoming central to every hospital's operations. Technology could consequently become more prevalent in healthcare spaces. Lastly, there is a growing justification to demand universal healthcare in countries that don't have it, such as the United States. Socially, we could also see more government surveillance, as it has been proven to help fight the virus. For example, some countries are using geolocalization on smartphones to figure out if people are respecting social distancing rules. These moves will definitely affect people's perception and social use of modern technology and could be seen as invasions of privacy. This isn't new, but it is now being exacerbated, and will surely affect political landscapes, which brings me to our last point. How will this quarantine affect politics and international relations? Every country is experiencing the strain of this disease, as is every individual. Thus, political repercussions are inevitable. In a post-quarantine world, one of two scenarios might unfold. The first, rather pessimistic, consists of a rise in nationalism, reducing cooperation on the international level. The fear of foreign threats might even be exploited by some political entities in some countries. The second scenario that might take place is based on the idea that this pandemic is proof of nations' interdependence, and says that democracies will eventually find a new type of, quote, protective internationalism that will prevail in the long term. Lastly, there might be a decline in polarization and divisiveness after quarantine. In fact, the shock to our societies that the pandemic is bringing has the potential to disrupt nations' histories of escalating political and cultural polarization. According to this logic, people would try harder to find middle ground and engage in open-minded discussions. Another reason this could happen is the concept of the common enemy, in which people look past their differences when faced with a shared threat like COVID-19. To wrap up, we might not know exactly how things will be in a post-quarantine world, but there is reason to be optimistic and hopeful. Although this pandemic isn't a literal war, it requires a strong collective effort, and it is known that societies that go through such challenging times generate stronger ties. People are starting to realize the power of collective action and how much we all have in common, resulting in a greater sense of community. In every corner of the world, the power of human spirit is present. Whether it be our heroic healthcare workers, public servants, teachers, or public health officials, many are demonstrating resilience and leadership that won't be forgotten. During World War II, the British government displayed a message to citizens to boost their morale. It said, "Keep calm and carry on." This will be more relevant than ever before after quarantine. No matter what lies ahead, we will keep calm and carry on.